You're still watching the Pulse on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. Now, just to bring you some information about what's happening in the country today. Yes, we may have our own issues here in Ghana, but it looks as though Nigerian students in Ghana are struggling to even register for the new academic year. And it's not because they don't have money to pay for their fees. No, it's about access to their funds back home through ATM cards and other issues that have also come up today. Let's get to the details now. Joining us in the studio is the president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Mr. Kayode Abubakar. He's to my extreme left. Thank you for coming, sir.
Good afternoon.
Also, Comforter Adioli is the Aliodi is the final year law students at the Mankresh University here in Ghana, also vice president of NANS Ghana. Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. But let me begin with you, Kayode. Yes, you may have issues, but are you saying the crunch in Nigeria is beginning to bite you here in Ghana?
Of course, yes.
How is it?
Well, I mean, due to the economic reality in Nigeria right now, Nigeria has entered recession. And the consequences of this is that it has put a lot of pressure on the Naira. And as we're talking right now, Naira has lost its value by almost 300%. And here we are as international students in Ghana. We pay in dollars. And for somebody who is paying $1,000, for instance, now, will have to use 3 times more Naira to buy the same amount of dollar that you've been paying in Ghana before. So this is in it a national emergency. It's a big issue that we're having now.
Sorry, just so I understand what you're saying. You're saying that the funds you will have used to pay for your fees now.
Naira has lost its value. As a result of that, you will have by almost 300%. You will have 3 times more Naira to buy the same amount of dollar that you need to pay your school fees. For instance, I said that if you're paying $1,000 in Ghana, mind you, your school fees has not increased in Ghana. It's still $1,000. But before, maybe you're using 200,000 Naira to buy that $1,000. You will now use times 3 of that of Naira to buy the same number of that amount of dollar in Ghana. So technically, I mean, it looks not realistic, and it's putting us under a serious pressure.
Okay,
Of this.
that's for your currency and its effect on your ability to pay your fees in the country. But what about the other issues, the consequences of this?
Apart from the devaluation or depreciation of the Naira as a result of the economic recession, there's also lack of access to forex. The Central Bank of Nigeria has a platform called Form A, whereby there's a provision to pay for school fees abroad or medicals abroad or some things like that. So you get an allocation, you fill a form, submit a letter from your school requesting for social amount of dollar to pay your school fees. Either you're in Ghana, you're in the United Kingdom or United States. So once you fill this form, your bank, the Central Bank will approve it and pay the money directly to the school abroad. Not the Central Bank will not give you the cash. So, but because of this, one of the consequences of this on us now is that the Central Bank is not able to meet up that demand anymore. So you don't have access to forex, either by cash or via the platform, the mechanism by Central Bank of Nigeria, which is through Form A, to pay your school fees. So what is the consequence? You can't make any transfer. That's number 2. You can't do transfer.
Okay.
Number three effect of this now is that last week we hit. That's just where we. It's like the end of the road for it all. All ATM cards that are issued in Nigeria is no more working outside Nigeria. So a lot of people were stranded. People personally, I went to visit a friend. I told the taxi driver, wait for me, let me withdraw over the ATM, only for the cards to, it's not working. And I just logged on the internet, I realized a lot of complaints on our groups are saying cards are not working, and that was another situation. All Naira cards are not working on ATMs abroad.
Okay,
like we're stranded.
Now, Comforter, let me begin to appreciate what your problem is here. For your association, how many students make up your group?
We have all the students from all private universities and public universities in Ghana making up the
And what's your number? What, 10,000, 5,000?
I would say we're above 5,000 or 8,000.
As at last session, we have over 40,000 adjustments schooling in over 50 to 55. We have more private schools in Ghana than the public schools. And we have over 55 to 60 universities, colleges, and institutes spread around Ghana. Basically, the Tema, Accra, Kaswa axis, we have over 38 of them. And we have about 8 in Kumasi, Nkoranza, in the Bronga-Afo region. We have 2 in Ho, 2 in Winneba, and stuff like that. But majority of them are along this coast. And we have over 40,000 adjustments spread across these regions. But because of this effect, because of the effect of this economic recession in Nigeria, now we have over 60 to 70% of Nigerian students failed, could not meet up with the demands, with the commitment to pay their fees in Ghana.
So what? Does that mean that most of your students are now heading back home because you can't
Yes,
pay
in
your
fact,
fees?
some did not even resume. Some cannot even resume at all because one, you can't pay fee, you can't do registration, you can't even now the ATM is not even working. Even some are, those on ground now, some of them are stranded. That's why I said it's a matter of national emergency. For the last 2 weeks, exactly about 10 days ago, Naira cards stopped working outside. And majority of Nigerian students in Ghana get their fund from Nigeria. Only few percentage get it from outside Africa. Maybe it's uncles, Nigeria is African thing. We like uncle and family things. So some get through Western Union from uncles in the US or Europe or whatever. But 90% of Nigerian students get their fundings from Nigeria. And since the whole thing has been cut out, then we have a problem. We cannot get access to forex to pay the school fees. We cannot, even those who make it to Ghana before, either by road or whatever, cannot even have access to their cash, even over the ATM machine.
Okay, but help me understand this. If this is clearly a matter that is quite pressing,
That's right.
have you informed your High Commission here about it?
Of course, yes. I mean, this is a national issue. It's not about Nigerian students in Ghana alone. I think after we are most it because I think after UK and US, Ghana has the largest concentration of Nigerian students in the diaspora, and as a result of that, we are feeling the it seriously. And of course, everything happening with Nigeria is open to everybody. It's a public thing. It's an open thing that Nigeria has entered recession. So the effect of this on every Nigerian section of Nigerian diaspora and Nigerians in diaspora differs. So we are only communicating about what we are feeling as Nigerian students in Ghana. So
I
Nigerian
get your point.
Commission,
But see, Kayode,
Nigerian
I
Commission
am
is
asking this question because
yeah.
if you have concerns about accessing your own funds
Yeah, that's
in
right.
Nigeria
That's
to pay up your fees
Yeah.
and you're not getting access, surely they can help you get it done, isn't it? Can they? The High Commission can help you?
It's beyond them. It's a central bank thing. It's a national thing. It's a national issue.
But to the extent that you guys are stranded
So
here
what-
in this country,
what kind of-
clearly they can help you, can they?
They
How many
should
Nigerians do
be able to help if they wanted to, but unfortunately, much attention is not paid to it, and I can explain why. Because if we have Nigerian students in diaspora, and we have a major challenge as that, then I think that the country should be more concerned about the welfare of these citizens, of their citizens in other countries, and to the fact that they have not given an open statement to that as to how to come about, how to address the challenges that we're facing. I mean, we have to do the needful. I mean, we have to seek the audience of the Ghanaians and the proprietors of these schools, the chancellors, and I mean, everybody who
with
cares
all-
to know.
Yes,
Stakeholders.
I get that point. So now that you are in this fix, for the universities, what are they saying? They're saying that if you can't register, go back to your country?
Well, I mean, on that note, I mean, this is where the advocacy comes in. Of course, the reality with Nigeria now is an open thing, as I said earlier on. I mean, everybody knew that Nigeria has entered recession economically, and then the effect is what we're now seeing. Now, the schools are actually demanding in dollars, and now that dollar is not available anymore. And so what we're doing is to reach out to the schools. Some of them are aware, but some don't really know exactly the extent of this damage, of these things on us. And so we are reaching out to the schools, and then some we've reached out to them, some we have not reached out to them yet, but some they are aware. And those schools that are actually pressing enough, we have some private schools that have more Nigerian student population than the locals. Schools like AIT, Zenith, and stuff like that. So they are very, very hot on it. AIT, for instance, we met with the AIT leadership, the president and the registrar, and then they complained that this year there are low enrollment from Nigeria. And secondly, the fact that the continuing students did not fail to resume. And so we say, well, sir, what is that? What do we call that? That's to say that something is wrong in Nigeria. We're a major force in this, stakeholders in this subsector of the economy, and we know what we're bringing on board here. And if, because of the economic reality in Nigeria, that is why this student could not resume. And he asked me, what exactly is the problem? He's been reading about it on the internet, on the BBC, everywhere. I said, what exactly is the issue? And I told him that, one, now, we have no more access to Forex, which means your student can no more transfer their school fees through the traditional form A via the Central Bank of Nigeria, number one. Number two, you can't even get access to the dollar cash. That's another problem, even if you have the Naira. And the Naira, the number three is that Naira has also lost its value by almost 300%, which means AIT, Accra Institute of Technology, has not increased their school fees, sir. But your student, Chibuzo, Adekunle in Nigeria, will have to use 3 times more Naira to buy the same amount of school fees you're having. So it lies on you, sir, to decide on the business side. If you want your student to resume, you can find something to do. Either to leave the school fees, to reduce the school fees, or let us find work out a mechanism to find a way of getting this money into Ghana, in Ghana cities, not in dollars.
I get your point. So now that you are in this fix, what are your people doing, your members? the 40,000 you speak of dotted across these universities. What are you doing now?
Yeah, we are the leadership. This is the national.
I get it that
Association of Nigeria.
the two of you
So the
are
only-
leading the campaign, but what's
Not
the
the two of
reality
us,
on the
the
ground?
executives.
Are they able to pay for rent, for instance? Are they able to feed, for instance?
That
Are they
is-
able to move around in the country?
That's one of the major challenges. We have them in serious. Number one is that you can't even meet up the school fees thing. Those who are, so what we're doing on that part is just advocacy. There's little we can do on the government side. I think we met with the Ghanaian High Commission to Nigeria, which I hosted us, and it concerned him a lot because he particularly knew what the Nigerian students are bringing on board economically in terms of Ghana economy. And he concerned, essentially William Kanyiringe. So he expressed his concern that what are we coping with this situation and what are we doing about that? It's very sad when we're in this situation. So on that line, what we're doing is only advocacy to reach out to the schools. Please, no more dollars. What can we do? See, this should be the way of transaction. And then we need to also, maybe because of the value now, even if you're collecting in cities, we still the same naira that we have to pay.
So in effect, you're saying that because of the issues with the cash, you're asking for a reduction in the fee. So
reduction in the fee and acceptance of cities. Some schools are only dollars. And the dollar, technically, I told them, I said, this is the reality, sir. There's no more dollars.
Not some schools. Almost all the schools in Ghana charge international students in dollars. And I asked why that is. Because if, for instance, you're traveling to the UK to study as an international student, you will be charging pounds because that's their currency. And if, for instance, let's say for instance, the European student is paying £7,000, the international student is made to pay £11,000 or £10,000. So you see the difference. But here in Ghana, you find a country whose currency is in cedis. They charge you in dollars. And then, for instance, an international student is made to pay $6,000 as against 11,500 Ghana cedis for same products. So is this a systematic way of the Ghanaians saying that they do not welcome international students?
Is that what it is? Because I know that if you...
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, let's flip the coin.
And that's also another big deal.
Sorry, let's just flip the coin. If a Ghanaian wants to go study in Nigeria as an international student, do they also pay in Naira?
They pay in Naira.
You don't pay in dollars?
No.
You're certain about that?
I'm very certain.
We'll do the checks. But I get your point here. Now, much as you say that you are in this fix, beyond the advocacy, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the students are concerned,
you are only raising the concerns and pleading.
Yeah, we need to.
Have you seen the Foreign Affairs Ministry, for instance,
in Ghana?
Since that you're having yes,
the Foreign Affairs in Ghana.
Yes.
Actually, the High Commissioner talked about seeing Mr. Emmanuel Bombande. I think that's the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister and for regional integration. So I think he will be directly involved with this. But we will have to reach out to him. We've not visited him yet. We're supposed to visit him when we arrive back into Ghana. But the day the High Commissioner fixed the appointment, I think
I know. And since you mentioned that you have quite a large community.
We're the largest. Nigerian students are the largest.
I get that. But I'm asking, for all these numbers you speak of, if nothing is done about this in what? 1 week, 2 weeks? What's going to happen? All of you are going to go back to Nigeria?
Yes, of course. It's already happening.
It's already happening.
Because we have some students, a lot of students have not resumed as we speak.
Over 60%.
The reason is because they cannot afford the fee as a result of the economic crisis back home. And then, so what we're doing, some schools have actually reduced the fee. Yes. But what we are asking, or what we are pleading, because we can only plead, is that these chancellors should, temper justice with mercy. Let them consider something like a pay parity. If they're paying, let's say for instance, a Ghanaian student is paying 6,000 Ghana cedis, let the Nigerian student pay at least 8,000 or 7,500, thereabouts. And then it makes more sense. They can pay in cedis. Getting cedis is not as difficult as getting dollars. We don't even have the dollars.
The dollars in the first place.
So in the first place, the dollars is not there. So if they want us to come back to school, if they value what that part of the sector is contributing to the development of the economy, and they know that this community contributes greater, then I think they should sit down and do their homework.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Kayode and Comforter, for joining us today. I'm sure for those who have the ears to listen, they will listen and then we'll see how things go. But thank you for coming today. We'll go for a short break. When we'll come back, we'll cross over to the United States of America. The elections, the issues are popping up quick and fast. We'll delve into them and get you a live update from Evans Mensah, head of our political desk from the United States. Details after the break. Stay with us. You're welcome back to the Pulse on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. Now, Democratic Party offices across the United States of America are preparing blitz of campaign activities, and as polls show that Republican candidate Donald Trump is beginning to get ahead in the race for the White House. We have a report from a Democratic Party headquarters in Iowa. Joy News can report that Democratic Party offices across the country are preparing for a blitz of campaign activities with the aim of getting people out to vote in their numbers, as polls show that Republican candidate Donald Trump is beginning to get ahead in the race. My colleague Evans Mensah, who is covering the elections with support from the U.S. Embassy here in Ghana and the International Center for Journalists, has today visited the Democratic Party headquarters in Burlington, Iowa, and joins me now via Skype. Evans, good afternoon to you. First of all, what are some of the details you have for us in terms of the work being done by the Democratic Party in view of the numbers showing that Trump is beginning to go past Hillary?
Well, what is obvious from what I've noticed today is that what we're seeing in the polls, and we all woke up this morning to see that Trump is not slowing down. The momentum is firmly on his side, and across the Democratic Party offices that I've heard about, there is a sense of renewed urgency. And today, I took the opportunity then to say, okay, let's track down one of the party headquarters offices here, and let's see if we can get that same sense. And I've been to the Democratic Party headquarters here in Burlington, Iowa, and you can see behind me the Democratic colors and the flags flapping in the background. In the offices, they're flapping around with renewed enthusiasm. This has galvanized them to do a bit more to get Democrats and everybody else who has reached voting age to go out there and cast their ballots in the numbers for Hillary Clinton. I've been speaking to Brittany Barnes, who is a field organizer with the Democratic Party here in Iowa.
Evans, we will bring that interview to our viewers in just a moment, but what are the other things you're picking up on the campaign trail in the United States?
Well, I must say that, again, knowing what has happened over the last few days with Donald Trump inching ahead, I have noticed a sense that Hillary Clinton and her surrogates, and surrogates is a term that they use here that I'm still struggling to grasp, but it essentially means the big names supporting her. So you have people like Barack Obama, Joe Biden. We have people, big shots like Obama's wife, all on the campaign trail across the United States, trying to whip up enthusiasm and whip up people to vote for them. Today, for example, Hillary Clinton is going to be in one of the states with Pharrell Williams, the hip hop musician, and precisely because there is a sense out here that Black American community are not turning out to vote in their numbers in these early voting that we've seen in many parts of the United States. And so they want to get people out there, people that the Black community can identify. And certainly Pharrell Williams is one of those that the Black community can identify. Hillary Clinton is going to go out with him on the campaign trail to campaign and hopefully use that as one of those catalysts to get the Black American community to turn out in their numbers to vote. That is what is happening as far as today is concerned. But Donald Trump is enjoying all of this. Yesterday, there's a very interesting clip of him on a campaign platform. He's been told to calm down, don't say anything that will shift the attention from Hillary Clinton and all the negatives she's having to battle to yourself. And so stay on script, stay on point, keep the message, read the prompter. And he was on the platform and he says, calm down, Donald, calm down. You don't have to say anything to shift the attention, calm down. And his supporters are absolutely elated by this. And of course, so you can see Donald Trump, he's changed. He's not keeping to script. He's sounding more presidential. He doesn't want to say a word that will cause another controversy and shift the momentum back to Hillary Clinton's side. And so, of course, it's been a tough few days for the Clintons. And if that interview is ready, what you will see from that interview that I got from the Democratic Party headquarters from Brittany Barnes, who is an organizer, is a sense that, well, there's a certain sense of anxiety also creeping in knowing that we just have 5 days to go and the momentum is not on their side anymore.
Evans, we'll bring that interview later this evening on Joy News Prime, but I've got to ask you this. Much as you say that Trump is being asked to stay on script, don't say anything that will get you in trouble, is that not making him uneasy? Is he able to keep to that kind of script and be, as you put it, presidential?
Well, so far he's doing a good job at doing that. But I must say again, another thing that has come up is that even in trying to keep to that script, he slipped a bit yesterday. CNN picked up on that on the morning shows this morning. They've been talking about it. He again attacked a journalist, a reporter, who was in the crowd covering this. And he says, well, yeah, something big is happening. There's a change happening. And then mentions the reporter and says, she's not covering it. She doesn't want to bring it up to you, bring that side of the story to you. And so that is, of course, Donald Trump trying to stay on script. But Donald Trump will remain Donald Trump. I mean, this is what has brought him this far, this unpredictability, this sense that he can say and do anything and get away with it. And so we will see. I mean, 5 days to go. It's still a long time in politics for things to change again. And of course, we just want to see what else happens, because every single day, something comes up in the news cycle here in the United States that is bad for Clinton. Yesterday, for a Twitter account that has not operated for so many months, the FBI account, they again published further documents saying that they're going to relating to Bill Clinton and not Hillary Clinton. Again, adding more fuel to the controversy that is, of course, has put Hillary Clinton on the defensive. And so it's pretty interesting today. And of course, the big guns in the Democratic Party are all out there trying their best to turn this around. And I must say to you, right from here, and as you can see, I'm still at the Democratic Party headquarters. Right from here, I'm going to be driving to the Republican Party headquarters to try and get an interview there also, so we can balance the scales a bit, get a sense of how they are riding. Yes, riding this wave of optimism and enthusiasm. And I must say, yesterday I was in a restaurant and I met a wife and a husband. The wife is a Democrat. She supports Hillary Clinton. The husband, who is a photographer, is a staunch Trump supporter. Ooh. They were having lunch and I was just having a conversation with them. And the husband was like, listen, I support Trump. She says, I am rooting for Hillary. We don't allow that to get in between us. We'll have our lunch and in peace. But that is how divisive it's become. It's dividing families. But of course, some are finding ways to unite around it and hope that the democracy will win. But we've seen also violence play out as a result of this enthusiasm. Yesterday, it was reported that a black church in Mississippi had been set ablaze. And after the suspects, arsonists, did that, they wrote on the church in chalk, crudely, vote Trump. That is the second arson attack in just 1 month in the United States of America as far as this election is concerned. Not to mention, 3 or 4 days ago, the Republican office was, they went to dump manure there. And so, yes, this is something that is creeping into U.S. politics, and people are afraid what might happen post-elections here.
Okay, thank you, Evans. We'll be bringing you some more from United States, and as you can see, Evans, much as he is in the thick of things in Ghana with politics, when it comes to politics anywhere around the world, he gets crazy about it, and he's bringing you the best, as you can see, from Burlington in Iowa. Thank you, Evans. We will talk some more later on. That's for our quick look at events happening in the United States of America, being covered by our own Evans Mensah from Burlington, Iowa. He's at the Democratic office right now. He'll get you some more details that will bring you on Joy News Prime this evening at 7 p.m. Do make a date. Now, back home here in Accra, Ghana, the Health Ministry has released some 300,000 Ghana cedis to the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. In a statement released by the ministry this morning, medications worth 100,000 cedis have also been supplied to help alleviate the plight of patients and workers at the hospital. But has this move changed the stance of the Accra psychiatric nurses to end their strike? My colleague Jennifer Kramer has been to the hospital and has filed this report.
For months, they complained. They sent their petitions to the relevant authorities. But after not hearing the kind of response that they required, the psychiatric hospital nurses of Accra laid down their tools and demanded redress. This is day 4 of their strike. The nurses are not at post here at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, and as you can see, the place is empty. Nobody is here. As one of the nurses described it to me, today, Thursday of all days, it's like a ghost town here. My name is Jennifer Kwamwa. So I've been joined by some of the executives of the Accra Psychiatric Hospital Nurses Group. To my right here's Philip. To my immediate left is Frederick, and then Francisca as well. They're all parts of the executives. Philip, let me start with you. The Ministry of Health has released 300,000 Ghana cedis to the hospital, ostensibly to defray your debts. But at last check, we heard that your debt was 4 million Ghana cedis just to defray it. That's notwithstanding all the other things that need to be purchased for the hospital. So the 300,000 Ghana cedis, will it make any headway for you?
Very well. So far as the debt is concerned, we believe that the 300 Ghana cedi cannot do anything. But then our understanding is that the 300 Ghana cedi is not. The 300 Ghana cedi, the 300,000 Ghana cedi is not for settlement of the debts. However, that is not part of our problem. Our difficulty is that we don't have medication to manage the patients, and then we don't have basic logistics to do our work as professional nurses. That is the fundamentals of our problem, and we believe that this is not a natural disaster. We believe that it is a menace that was created by human, and it has to be corrected by human. Well, yesterday we received some form of assurance that with respect to the medication and the logistics, this morning everything will come. But as I speak to you, we understand that some of the medication have come, and we are waiting for the logistics and the rest of the medication. So far as the medication and the logistics arrive, we'll come back to work.
Okay. You said that the 300,000 is not necessarily to defray your debt. If it's not for that, what is your understanding for that amount?
Well, I understand that it is part of the measures put in place by the ministry to support the problem we are facing here.
Okay. Let me come to you, Frederick. According to news reports, the National Labour Commission has ordered the nurses to get back to post. Now you've received 300,000 Ghana cedis. Is this enough incentive for you?
It is not. In fact, it is woefully inadequate to take care of the situation as it is, because aside the food and all those basic logistics we are talking about, even common gloves we don't have, stationery, pens, paper, gloves we don't have. And we would need the detergents to clean the various wards, because as you can see, if you go to some of the wards, the stench that is coming out of that place is not the best. So we need to get all these things in place to be able to take care of our patient as well as ourselves, because if you should take any infections from there, you will send it home and you go and give it to your relatives. Even you yourself acquiring any injury or any form of sickness from the ward home, you would have to take care of yourself. So the money that is in, and even it is yet to be taken from the bank to go purchase what you call it, the items that we need. And looking at how much we would need to run the hospital a day, it's around 6,000. So if it's just 300 is coming, you can just imagine what it can do. And
wait, so just to make it clear, does that mean that you will not return to post even with the money being in?
The money can't even do what it is supposed to do, because if you need gloves, if you need detergent, how much of the money can purchase those items, and how long can whatever that will be purchased sustain? Does that mean we have to come back and then after just 2 weeks go back onto the street that the things they gave us has run out, so we are back onto the street? We want a lasting solution to this problem.
Speaking of back on the streets, Francisca, let me ask you, we understand that you've started repatriating some of the patients who are better well off and can live on their own more or less independently. Have you started that program already?
Well, that was a management decision, and as we speak now, we can't tell whether it has been started yet or not. We can't speak to that fact.
So does that mean all the patients are currently in?
Well, yes, we can say that, because as of the last time we came to the hospital, the patients were still there.
And how are they fending for themselves? This is day 4 of the strike.
Well, it's unfortunate because then the patients we are caring for need our help. It is not our wish that we undergo this, take this action. But then situations have led to the fact that we have to take these actions so that our case will be heard. For a long time now, mental health has been relegated to the backside. We want mental health to be given the priority it deserves. So we had to take these steps. Unfortunately, the situation at the hospital will not be the best because the patients do not have any carers.
So then if anything should happen to the patients right now, does that not fall on your head?
We don't believe so, because it is only fair and proper that we demand what we use to work. And then in the absence of those things, we would rather put our life on the red line. So if something of that nature happens, I believe that the person responsible for the provision of those logistics should accept and take responsibility for that.
Okay, but back to the money issue and to the strike. Assuming that beyond the 300,000, no other monies will be provided from the Ministry of Health, what's the next step then for the Accra Psychiatric Hospital Group?
Like we've been saying all this while, we can't come here while the basic things we need to work with aren't available. So the only way out is for us to get the very things we need, because it's just like a farmer going to the farm without a cutlass. What can you do? So even if we should come here to put our lives even on the line, the very things to work with are not there.
So
More from that report later this evening on Joy News Prime. Do make a date.